Hey, thanks for watching. This is Dan from Fisher Jeep Adventures. We have made it to the high water mark trail on the Ozarks in the Ozark National Forest. We just turned off the main road, just found our way to the dirt path. And if this is something you're interested in, please stick around for the video. All right, guys, we made it to where the GPX file brought us to start. So we started out at St. Joe, Arkansas. You turn off the main road, which I believe is 65, and then you follow basically a hard surface road for about 5 minutes, and then you turn off onto dirt road. You get down that about 3 miles, and you run into where there's a bridge crossing, which is currently closed. So there is a bypass route around it. So like I said before, the main path on the GPX file, there's a bridge that goes across what is a dry creek right now that was closed, I guess, for repair. So you do have to take a bypass that kind of wraps around it. So far it's headed that way. But it's so dry out here, it's super dusty. And like I said, we crossed the creek back there probably 8 or 9 times, and it's just dry rock right now.
There's no people to run over. These people are really gonna think you're crazy.
They're gonna think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
Doubtful.
No, this guy's like super excited for you.
Alright, so that was the first little stream crossing, not very deep, that we came across anyway, that had water on it. It brings you out next to a cornfield, so it kind of looks odd, but it's not. Alright, this is the second water crossing that we found today. All the rest of them, if they were water crossings, they're all dry. All right, that was the second one that we crossed. It actually has water in it. There's a bunch of little creek crossings that are all dry as a bone. That one was super shallow, and I think it's just because it's been so dry out here. I think this is supposed to be covered in water. This thing. And it doesn't look like there's been water here for a while. All right, well, as you come up to where Round Hill is, there's a little trail that goes off to the right that looks like it's an ATV trail, easily gone through by a Jeep. It's super dry out here, so traction isn't an issue. On top of that section is a really nice campsite, so sometimes you just never know where the trail is going to take you. All right, you come about 1,000 feet down from Round Hill, and it brings you into the Richlands National Forest, and there's a campground down here right by the creek. So like I said, if you come down from Round Hill, it drops about 1,000 feet into Richlands recreation area, which is part of the Ozark National Forest. There's a campground down here by the creek. We're not going to stay here tonight, but it's nice. There's bunches of spots. It's $10 a night, so it's a good option if it's something that you're interested in. And just as a point of reference, we're about 30 miles down the trail from St. Joe. That's given the bypass that we had to go around the place where the dry stream crossing was, or the road was blocked off. So about 30 miles in. So if you're coming in from St. Joe, about 30 miles in, you'll find a national campground. You come out from the state park and there was those cool bluffs, but it looks like there's a trail that goes up to the top. So we're gonna see if we can make it up there. So this is pretty cool. You climb up that road and you just see these cliffs just kind of poking out of nowhere. Pretty cool. And that's the road down there. Well, that was really cool. Like I said, we came out of the Richlands recreation area by the campsite, and you come around the corner and there are those cliffs right there. And so far, the being here in the Ozarks is pretty cool. Everything we've seen is really nice. The trails are well maintained. Like it seems like all my other trips, there's really nobody out here. So it's just nice. So we'll keep going and eventually find a camp along the way. But so far, we're going to keep running. All right, so not too far from the cliffs is a mark on the trail for a section of waterfalls. And I'm guessing that when there's actual water, that there's some waterfall steps. I guess that's about as much of a waterfall as we're going to find. I guess when there's water flowing through here, it probably is pretty spectacular. All right, once you come out of the forest road that goes by the waterfalls, which are a very kind of public-y kind of area, you get on Route 10 or Highway 10 for, maybe a couple hundred yards, and then you bear left into another wildlife management area. And that turns more into a Jeep trail. So here, it's a little bit rocky, and it's about just the width of a vehicle, and there's some small creek crossings which so far have all been dry. I think we're coming up to another water crossing here in a minute, but it's for these types of trails, I mean it's a lot like Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains and areas in North Carolina and West Virginia, where you're in a nice forested area with a rocky trail that's maintained by the Forest Service. So certainly easy. I've only been in four-wheel drive just as a precaution going through the water. Other than that, it's just been two-wheel drive, and we did air down at 20 psi just to make it a little bit more comfortable. All right, once you cross that one area, you kind of come out into a little rocky flat spot. And that's where we came from. All right, well, that was pretty cool. I can see how in some of the notes for things that if we were going through a time here in Arkansas where there was a lot of rain, that those stream crossings could be pretty tricky. Looks like there's a campsite marked on the trail, so we're gonna go check that out. It's kind of getting late in the day, and it should be right at the end of, I guess, the first leg of what's marked on this GPX file. So. All right, you come through that really tight area, and you come through another little rocky, and there's this cool little rock plateau where it looks like you could easily camp for the evening if you wanted to. Right here in the middle of the stream. All right, just down from that place where the flat rock was, we finally found a waterfall where there was water flowing. All right, the trail gets a little confusing. once you get past where the marked campsite is, it turns back into a nice open gravel road, and then you find yourself back on a single vehicle width, tight, kind of rocky trail. The GPX file doesn't really do itself justice, because when you come to where the cemetery is, I believe it's called Brock Cemetery, to bear to the left. So as soon as you come down the hill, the Brock Cemetery is going to be on the left, and then you need to go straight, and the road's going to fork into two directions. Don't go back behind the cemetery, although there is a campsite back there. The road forks to the left and to the right. The GPX file is going to get all mixed up, but you want to go to the left, and that gets you back on track. So it looks like the GPX file is just a point that someone marked and didn't actually mark it while they were driving. So just know that you're going to have to just have some trail sense and kind of figure out where the trail looks like it's heading versus where the GPX file is pointing you, and you should be in good shape. All right, we left camp and came down. You come out off of the Forest Service Road onto a hard surface road, and there's a church right there on your right as you're approaching Granny's Gap. If you air down, now would be a time to air back up, because Granny's Gap, while it's a gravel road, it's flat, and then you come out onto Route 7, and you're going to be on Route 7 for about 10 or 15 miles. At highway speed. So if you air down, like we did, we aired back up, and we're back onto Forest Service Road again. But I prefer to run on the highway with highway pressure. You know, it doesn't take long with the ARB twin air compressor to air back up, and with the in-deflate system that we have, it doesn't take long to deflate the tires either. So it's one of those things that is one of the management of your tires and stuff. So we're going to stay aired up for a while and see how the trail goes before we decide to air back down. Alright, so the gravel road turns into more of an off-road trail. Looks like they doing some logging out here. So this is Page Hollow Trail. You turn off of the Forest Service Road, and it's still pretty dry. I mean, there are some mud holes, as you just saw, and nothing that's challenging. It's just super tight. And again, another one of those trails that you can't love your paint on. All right, you come down, and there's a really tight section. There is a bypass around it, but all right, you come to on the GPX map, there is a what looks like a water crossing marker. You got to turn right, right where that water crossing marker. If you keep going straight, it takes you down a four-wheeler trail that is super tight, and so you just got to be careful of where you go. So it'll lead you in a direction you didn't plan on going, as we did. So. You have to admit, it is pretty cool. I don't know if it shows up in the video, but to the right there's a stone wall that's been kind of following us along Page Hollow Road the whole way. So it's just pretty neat. Someone had stacked a whole bunch of rocks. I don't know if it was right, we did come out of Page Hollow, and then there's this really cool old cement bridge that comes across. It's not actually on the GPX file trail, but it is right there. But there's also, looks like a little creek crossing you can drive around it, so we're going to do that. That was Page Hollow. I think that you definitely have to understand that you're basically driving over, you know, right next to the river, and it's basically round rocks everywhere. It's super tight in spaces, so just be cognizant of that if you go that route. But I think that's going to be the end of the high water mark trail for us. We have an itch to get west, and I think that the rest of the high water mark trail, from what I've seen, is a lot of just what we've done already, and we're ready to get up into the mountains and the drier, cooler air, and so I think that's what we're going to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed what we showed you of the high water mark trail. Not a lot of water out here. There are some technical sections, so you do have to be careful about those things, and but otherwise it's just a scenic drive through the Ozarks. So like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, leave us a comment, and join us for the other videos in the Colorado series that's coming up. So this is Dan from Fisher Jeep Adventures, and we'll see you on the trail.